For this assignment, I was expected to attempt to live 8 hours without technology. So just to start, I decided to do this over the weekend, where it was very difficult for me to do the assignment completely because I was going home, and it's my second year here at App, and I'm still not really sure how to get home, so I had to use the GPS, which led me to Spotify. So I would say that I kind of failed, but I made a conscious effort not to use technology. So I realized this weekend that technology is everywhere. There's not really a way to escape it because you turn on your GPS, then you're on your phone, you wind up using Spotify for music. If you decide not to use Spotify, you're still using the radio, which is technically technology. And then you go to eat somewhere, like Chili's, you use a kiosk to pay, technology, debit card, little computer screen on the table, technology. And I realized that everything we do is technology-based, and that's just the way our society is, and it's very hard to escape it. Another thing I learned was that even when I wasn't paying attention to my phone, it gave me a little bit of relief since I didn't have to answer every text or answer every phone call. But at the same time, it gave me anxiety because I wasn't really sure if it was an emergency or if it was necessary for me to answer it in that specific time because I was trying my best not to read it. I also learned that this assignment was very difficult for me, and that is sad. In class the other day, we discussed whether or not we thought technology influenced our everyday lives, or maybe it was social media. Regardless, I learned that I lied in class, and that technology is very difficult for me. It's very difficult for me to not let influence my life, and that I'm influenced by it daily, and after trying to step back from technology, I realized how much I actually use it. Two things I learned from this experience, or questions that I have, is whether or not technology is actually improving society. Over the weekend, I realized that instead of just knocking on the door like I normally would, I was drawn to my phone to say here so that the person was expecting me. So when I got to where I was going to see my boyfriend, and I walked up to his door and just knocked, and it was kind of awkward and uncomfortable because I'm used to saying here and having them expect me, and instead I was waiting at the door this is awkward. Another question I have is, how did I do this before? Because there was a time where I didn't have a cell phone, and cell phones didn't have the internet or social media on them. There's a time when in my life that Facebook wasn't even a thing. So I'm just amazed at how much things have changed so quickly, and how I did it before, and now it's just such a norm, and how it's going to evolve from here. Something interesting that I saw was that it's genuinely impossible to live without it, because everywhere we look, there's technology. In the classroom, a lot of teachers use projectors. We are all required to turn in assignments online, and it just spirals, and I think that technology is inescapable. And through this project, I really learned that. I feel like using technology is impossible, but also that you can use technology without even realizing it. When I went home this weekend, my mom got a little Alexa Dot, and they were playing with it. And what am I going to do? Sit there and ignore them? So I played with it too. I was going to talk to Alexa and check the weather in Boone, and I didn't even realize I was doing it. All of a sudden I was doing it. Another example was this weekend when my parents wanted to watch a movie. I didn't say no, because I'm not going to do that. So, of course, I watched it with them. There, I was using technology. My limits on this were, I really was trying to limit my screen time, whether that be the television, the computer, or my cell phone. But I really tried not to use social media. And that's really hard for me because in clubs that I'm involved in, that's how I get my notifications. So I did kind of cheat in that aspect, and I got my notifications because I feel like it's necessary for me to plan my week ahead. I also use my GPS, and I'm guilty. I wore my Fitbit because I feel like that's a positive technology, and that really does benefit because it makes me healthy. So overall, this digital Sabbath was kind of difficult And I would say that I kind of failed, and I really do let technology influence me greatly. And it's something that after the experience I'm very conscious of, and now I realize how much technology truly influences all of us, whether we want it to or not.